Most people buy the wrong size generator, not because they didn't spend enough money, but because they sized it backwards. They start with the biggest unit they can afford instead of starting with what they actually need to keep running. And that mistake usually leads to wasted fuel, excess noise, shorter run times, or a generator that still doesn't power what they expected. This video breaks down how generator sizing actually works, what numbers matter, and how to avoid the most common sizing mistakes, without recommending any specific brand or model. We'll cover the two critical measurements that determine if a generator will work for your needs, why bigger isn't always better, and a complete framework for choosing the right size. You'll also learn how to handle tricky appliances like well pumps and air conditioners, what to do about seasonal load changes, and how to plan for future electrical needs without oversizing today. By the end, you'll have a systematic approach that works whether you're shopping for your first generator or replacing an existing one that isn't meeting your expectations. Every generator sizing decision comes down to two numbers: running watts and startup watts. Running watts are what an appliance needs once it's operating normally. This is the steady-state power draw you'll see on most appliance labels. Startup watts are the short surge required when motors or compressors first turn on. This surge typically lasts only a few seconds, but it can be dramatic. Here's where people get into trouble. A refrigerator that runs at 300 watts can briefly require 900 watts when the compressor starts. A furnace blower rated at 600 running watts might need 1,800 watts for startup. A window air conditioner could surge to triple its running wattage. If your generator can't handle that surge, it may stall, trip its breaker, or shut down completely, even if the total running watt requirement looks perfectly manageable. This is why you can't simply add up nameplate ratings and call it done. Instead of guessing, start by listing what actually matters during an outage. For most homes, that essential list includes refrigerator and freezer, some lighting circuits, phone and internet equipment, furnace blower or circulation fan, potentially a sump pump or well pump. Notice what's typically missing from essential lists. Central air conditioning systems often require 3,000 to 5,000 watts just for startup. Electric water heaters draw 3,000 to 4,500 watts continuously. Electric ovens and dryers can pull 4,000 to 6,000 watts. Whole house heating systems frequently exceed portable generator capacity entirely. These high-draw appliances usually push requirements into standby generator territory, which is a completely different conversation. Let's work through a realistic example. A typical refrigerator, 150 running watts, 450 startup watts. LED lighting for essential rooms, 200 watts total. Furnace blower, 600 running watts, 1,800 startup watts. Router and modem, 50 watts combined. Total running watts, 1,000. But your generator needs to handle that 1,800 watt furnace startup surge, plus everything else already running. So you need at least 2,250 watts available capacity, and that's before adding any safety margin. Here's why bigger isn't automatically better. Larger generators create their own problems that many people don't anticipate. First, fuel efficiency drops dramatically at light loads. A 7,000 watt generator running a 1,000 watt load often consumes nearly as much fuel as if it were running a 3,000 watt load. You're essentially paying to run an oversized engine most of the time. Second, noise increases substantially with size. A 3,000 watt unit might produce 58 decibels at normal distance, while a 7,000 watt unit could hit 72 decibels. That difference is significant, both for you and your neighbors during extended outages. Third, maintenance costs scale with engine size. Larger generators need more oil, bigger oil filters, larger air filters, and more expensive spark plugs. These costs add up over the generator's lifetime. Fourth, storage and handling become real issues. A properly sized generator might weigh 80 pounds and fit in a standard shed. An oversized unit could weigh 200 pounds and require dedicated storage space. In short, buying more generator than you need introduces new problems without solving the original power requirements. Undersizing creates different but equally serious problems. Generators that can't handle startup surges will trip their internal breakers, stall the engine, or damage themselves through overload attempts. But there's a more subtle issue: voltage sag. When a generator is pushed near its limits, Voltage can drop below acceptable ranges even if it doesn't completely shut down. This voltage sag can damage sensitive electronics, cause LED lights to flicker or dim, and make motors run inefficiently or overheat. This is especially critical for homes with medical equipment, computer systems, or variable speed furnace blowers that require stable power quality. Sump pumps present a particular challenge because they must start reliably during storms when power outages are most likely. A sump pump that can't start due to inadequate generator capacity could lead to basement flooding, a far more expensive problem than buying the right generator initially. The goal isn't the smallest generator possible. It's the smallest generator that reliably handles your essential loads with appropriate startup capacity and maintains stable voltage under all operating conditions. This usually means choosing a unit rated 25–30% above your calculated minimum requirement. Here's a systematic sizing framework that accounts for all the variables we've discussed. Step 1. List only truly essential devices. Essential means must keep running to maintain safety, comfort, and prevent damage, not convenience items. Step 2. Research actual power requirements. Don't rely on nameplate ratings alone. Look up startup multipliers for motor-driven appliances. Refrigerators typically surge 2 to 3 times running watts. Furnace blowers surge 3 to 4 times. Well pumps can surge 4 to 6 times. Step 3. Calculate your running watt total. Add up all the appliances you listed using their normal operating wattage. Step 4. Identify your largest single startup load. This is usually your furnace blower, well pump, or large refrigerator freezer. Step 5. Add startup surge to running total. Take your running watt total, then add the startup surge of your largest motor load only. Don't add startup surges for multiple devices. They won't all start simultaneously in normal operation. Step 6. Apply a safety margin. Multiply your result by 1.25 to account for generator aging, altitude effects, and unforeseen circumstances. Step 7. Consider power quality requirements. If you have sensitive electronics or medical equipment, lean toward inverter generators or add an additional 20% capacity buffer. This method works for any generator type and gives you a realistic minimum requirement rather than a marketing-driven number. Some appliances require special consideration in your sizing calculations. Well pumps are particularly tricky. A 1-horsepower well pump might draw 1,400 running watts, but require 6,000 watts for startup. This startup surge is both high and sustained, lasting 10–15 seconds rather than the typical 2–3 seconds. If you have a well pump, it often becomes your sizing constraint. You'll need a generator large enough to handle that startup surge, plus everything else you want to keep running. Air conditioners present another challenge. Even small window units often require 2,000–3,000 startup watts. Central air systems typically need 4,000–7,000 watts just for the compressor startup, plus additional capacity for the air handler. Most homeowners find that including air conditioning pushes them into standby generator territory rather than portable units. Electric water heaters create a different issue. They don't have startup surges, but they draw enormous continuous power, usually 3,000–4,500 watts. If hot water during outages is essential, this continuous load dominates your generator sizing. Sump pumps vary widely. A 1.3-horsepower sump pump might need 800 running watts and 2,400 startup watts. But a 3.4-horsepower unit could require 1,200 running watts and 4,800 startup watts. The key is researching your specific models rather than guessing based on general categories. Generator requirements change with seasons, and this affects sizing decisions. Winter outages often coincide with heating needs. If your furnace runs on natural gas but requires electricity for the blower and controls, that blower becomes essential load. In very cold climates, losing heat isn't just uncomfortable. It can lead to frozen pipes and serious property damage. Summer outages create different priorities. Food preservation becomes critical when refrigeration is down. Air circulation fans become essential for health and comfort. Well pumps may run more frequently for irrigation and increased water usage. Spring brings storm season in many regions. This is when sump pumps earn their keep, and they cannot be allowed to fail due to inadequate generator capacity. The practical approach is sizing for your highest demand season, then managing loads appropriately during lower demand periods. However, don't size for theoretical worst-case scenarios that are unlikely to occur. For example, if you only run space heaters during the coldest 2 weeks of the year, consider alternative heating methods for outages rather than sizing your generator around electric heat. The goal is balancing realistic seasonal needs against the costs and complications of oversizing. Generator size directly impacts fuel consumption and runtime, which affects your outage preparedness. Larger generators don't just consume more fuel per hour, they consume disproportionately more fuel when lightly loaded. A 3,000-watt generator running a 1,500-watt load might consume 0.2 gallons per hour. That same 1,500-watt load on a 7,000-watt generator could consume 0.35 gallons per hour. Over a 24-hour outage, that's the difference between 4.8 gallons and 8.4 gallons, nearly double the fuel consumption for identical output. This affects more than just cost. It affects how much fuel you need to store, how often you need to refuel during extended outages, and ultimately how long you can maintain power independence. Properly sizing your generator maximizes your fuel efficiency and extends your potential runtime from stored fuel. For propane users, this efficiency difference becomes even more pronounced because propane contains less energy per unit than gasoline, and oversized generators waste that energy through poor load matching. Even perfectly sized generators can fail to meet expectations due to installation and connection issues. Extension cord limitations often become the weak link. A properly sized 3,000-watt generator connected through undersized extension cords will experience voltage drop and may not deliver its rated power to your appliances. Use appropriate gauge extension cords, typically 12 gauge for runs up to 100 feet, 10 gauge for longer distances. Transfer switches eliminate extension cord limitations and provide the safest, most convenient connection method. Even a simple manual transfer switch makes generator operation more reliable and reduces the risk of backfeeding power into utility lines. Location matters enormously. Generators must operate outdoors with adequate ventilation, but they also need protection from rain and snow. They should be positioned to minimize noise impact on neighbors while remaining accessible for refueling and maintenance. Consider concrete pads for permanent positioning, and always maintain proper clearances from windows, doors, and air intakes. Generator sizing isn't about buying the biggest unit you can afford. It's about systematically matching realistic power needs to startup requirements, fuel efficiency, and operational constraints. Most homeowners only need to support essential circuits during outages, not entire electrical systems. Proper sizing reduces costs, improves reliability, maximizes fuel efficiency, and avoids unnecessary complications. Start with what you actually need to keep running, account for startup surges, add appropriate safety margins, and choose accordingly. This systematic approach works whether you're buying your first generator or replacing one that never quite met your expectations. If this video helped clarify generator sizing for you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more practical home systems content.